she's often made the comment that there's going to be only one collector in this house, but she's been very supportive, and I appreciate it.
We've done a lot of things that we wouldn't have done and gone a lot of places if we didn't collect.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Today we are very fortunate to be in Asheboro, North Carolina, in the beautiful home of Mr. and Mrs. Bill and Annette Ivey. Bill and Annette have been community citizens of North Carolina. Today we're here to embrace their passion as collectors of North Carolina decorative arts. Bill, thank you for allowing us to come into your home today, and just thank you also for your leadership and your scholarship. Bill has written numerous publications over the years, not only for all of us today that are in the field, but those that will follow, future collectors, future dealers, future auctioneers. So thank you for that, Bill. Let's talk about Piedmont furniture. What in the world brought you into your love and passion of Piedmont furniture?
I've always had the collector's instinct, and I collected Order there lodge patches when I was a Boy Scout. I was an old Eagle Scout, and I found then that I loved to collect.
Mm-hmm.
But after I got out of school, I was able to buy some pottery, and I bought a object or two of furniture, and then a long rifle. But at first, I didn't really know where these pieces were from. And I have found that if you know where a piece is from, or if you know a little bit about it, then you almost have a relationship with it. And as opposed to just an old chest of drawers, it comes alive and you know about where it was made. Plus, I'm a regional collector. That is, this is our heritage. And I also consider myself a preservationist as well. As an example, this piece is by Jeremiah Pickett. Pickett was a Quaker maker, and this county has a lot of Quaker-made pieces because we were settled from Pennsylvania. A lot of people are not familiar with that, but our material culture here in Piedmont, North Carolina reflects very much southeastern Pennsylvania, which is where a lot of our settlers came from. They came down through the Shenandoah Valley, spilled out here. It's got simple lines, it's got high bracket feet, and this is a wonderful feature here. There's only a couple of these high chests that have this. He also made low chests that had the scalloping. So in the typical configuration of our high chest here in North Carolina is 3/2/4. And one of the features that I look for that you don't hear about in the books or anything is if this center drawer it's wider than the other two.
Mm-hmm.
And the Quakers did that. Now, Henry Macy, this particular maker, was also a Quaker, and when he made bracket pieces with bracket feet, he did not dovetail his feet. A lot of people think he did, but he did not. Those are dovetailed, the ones that we just looked at. But now this piece doesn't have any bracket feet. It has these little Queen Anne slipper feet, which would have had their origin up in the Delaware River Valley of Pennsylvania. But this piece was made right over the edge of the line in Guilford County. But notice this wide drawer.
Mm-hmm.
And Henry Macy also did this peaky top, which is unique here in North Carolina with some decoration. I have a theory about how this may have taken place. Haven't seen it in print or anything. I don't know that I really ever discussed it much, but imagine those pieces of furniture made in Philadelphia or up that had these fancy broken arches, but they cut in here, or just cut out in there.
Mm-hmm.
But he didn't do that. He did a solid piece with a decoration, and he did different decoration.
And Bill, what do you call this type of form? This is different than the first one that we looked at. There was a tall chest of drawers. What would you tell the folks how
very,
to explain
very
this?
important question, because this is a chest on frame.
Oh.
Yeah, and it's as close to a highboy as we're gonna have in North Carolina, but it actually is a chest on frame. This frame comes separate than the chest. I love painted, decorated furniture, but a lot of the old time collectors clean their paint off and wanted that raw pine to show. But these usually come in yellow pine or poplar. This is yellow pine, and this is milk paint, and it's decorated. It's a wonderful piece. We know this piece has its origin from Stanley County. Stanley County was carved out of Rowan County, so it really, when it was made, was probably Rowan County. And it has the fil-fots on top, tombstones with those little double hearts. But he did several different forms of this. We know of at least 4 blanket chests, maybe 5, that it has survived that have been identified. I believe that every household in Randolph County and the most Piedmont homes had a couple of blanket chests.
Right.
And collectors can own several, because you can put them at the bottom of a bed, you can put them at the back of a sofa, you can put them under a window. And so they're just wonderful utilitarian type pieces of furniture, as well as being very decorative. The furniture out of Rowan and Stanley County tend to be dramatic, but you do not see Quaker furniture painted very often.
Well, this is a beautiful example. Thank you for sharing it with us.
Mm-hmm.
You gave me this book 40 years ago, and I still have it. Now that tells you something, how I honor your opinion about things.
I did this little book early on. I was former president of the museum down at Seagrove, and then later became the Pottery Center.
Yes.
And we did these. We did some articles each year on pottery, but this is a survey of all of the North Carolina face jugs, and I think the important part of it is that it is a photograph of what existed in 1992. So yeah, I think it has its importance. It's not a great book by any means.
No, but it was important to me, because up to this time I had never seen a face jug, and this was kind of like my little guide to the face jugs of North Carolina. And this is a beautiful example here, Bill.
B.B. Craig is our most important face jug maker, certainly of the 20th century, and we don't know of any documented face jugs made back in the 19th century. Most of those face jugs that you see were made in South Carolina, some by slaves, and but he's a
Classic.
A monument.
Mm-hmm.
B.B. Craig's a monument.
What else in this
Well,
is a
this
favorite
is
of
our
yours?
example of salt glaze that you find in the Randolph County, Chatham, Moore County area. This is Nicholas Fox, And Nicholas Fox died in 1858. This is an almond piece. It's signed Almond Pottery, Seagrove, NC. Now there's about 3 or 4 different signatures that you have to look at when you see this. And then these are art pottery pieces. This one happens to be a log cabin piece. And a thing to point out maybe is the art pottery or the 20th century pottery, the signature is usually on the bottom. The 19th century pottery, the signature is going to be on the side. Very interesting to have the salt glaze tradition. We've got the alkaline tradition out in the Catawba Valley, and then the art pottery that made the pottery survive, and there's still 10th, 11th generation potters still down there.
Thank you, Bill. That was very informative.
So it looks like this is a Salem school gun. Could you tell us a little bit about this?
Well, you find that Salem school guns, the early ones, particularly the ones made in Old Salem, most of them aren't signed.
Mm-hmm.
I've just found particularly the Vogler family just didn't sign them. There's just a handful known. But this almost certainly is a George Vogler. And George Vogler used the eagle finial, these galoche works on the side that you see in Salem from time to time. The 4-strike molding was very prominent in the Salem school, with a volute coming back at the terminus, at where this real ramrod thimble is. And then on the other side of this rifle, this really gives it away, because it's scooped out and it just doesn't have the Salem architecture. Plus it has these gouge marks, they're decorative, that you find along the back butt plate. And the only school I know in North Carolina that you find this is in Rowan County. This is another, I consider a very important rifle. This rifle was made, we're here in Asheboro, and this rifle was made about 12 or 15 miles north of here at a shop at Muddy Creek. It is signed. This rifle came out of the Kendig collection, and Joe Kendig from York, Pennsylvania, put the Kentucky rifle on the map. One of my things I like about Kentucky rifles is the architecture, as well as the decorative things that you find on the gun. It's my favorite subject, if you will, because you had to have so many disciplines, if you will, to make this. You had to be a mechanic, you had to be a silversmith, because it's got silver wedges out, and a lot of times they are great. You had to be an engraver, and above all, you had to be a good woodworker. But then you had to make the thing work, because this is not a military gun. You gotta understand this. This is not military. This gun, the stock is held by wedges, not barrel bands like most military guns would be. And in fact, Alexander Frazier was a Quaker, but he would not make a gun for a war because of his faith, but he certainly made it to protect his home and to hunt with. Anytime that you enjoy art of some sort and you know about it and you can appreciate it, whether it's decorative arts, and I'd even say those folks that appreciate fine art, But if you can do that and have that, that adds a extra level to your life that you wouldn't otherwise get to see and enjoy.